French factory makes them out of strips of flat steel with rounded edges. The first step is to flatten the strip with pressure-applying rollers. The steel then enters a press, which does 3 operations simultaneously. It cuts pieces to the required length, rounds their ends, and punches out holes where required. These are parts for the table legs. Meanwhile, this computer-guided machine bends a half-inch steel rod into a circle to form a ring that will support the tabletop. This table is collapsible, allowing it to fold flat for storage. Therefore, 2 of the legs are hinged. A pin and notch lock them in the open position. After putting together the folding legs, a worker positions all the parts for the base on an assembly fixture. Then he operates a welding robot, which welds all the crossbars, reinforcing the legs and the legs to the ring. It only takes about 2 minutes to weld all these parts into a folding table base. The manufacturers make the tabletop from a square piece of sheet steel. This machine first shears off the corners, transforming the square into a circle. Then it draws the edge upward to form a half-inch high rim on what will eventually be the underside of the tabletop. It also cuts a hole in the center for an umbrella pole and draws that edge as well. A worker mates the tabletop to the folding base. He inserts the ring to the tabletop's underside rim. Then he opens the base and uses spreading pliers to pull apart, then butt the ends of the ring. Next, he shields the underside of the table with a scrap piece of metal and welds the butted ends. The table is now fully constructed. The chair parts are cut on the same press as the table legs. Each chair has 2 long legs and 2 shorter legs. This machine simultaneously folds and twists the 2 shorter ones and folds the 2 longer ones. The operator then connects them with the crossbar.
Okay. Hang around me, I gotta go sleep in a minute.
The next operator places these connected short legs in another machine. He adds washers to the protruding ends of the crossbar. Then the 2 long chair legs, connecting them lower down with the crossbar. The machine welds that crossbar and forms each end of the other crossbar into a rivet, which creates the folding point for this collapsible chair frame. The next operator places the frame on another machine, positioning 3 holes on each side onto upright steel pins. He lays 2 steel slats for the chair back on these pins. Then 5 more for the seat onto identical pins riveted to a pair of steel bars. The machine then forms the pins into rivets, attaching all the slats. He then assembles the seat to the frame, completing the construction of the chair. The tables and chairs go onto the paint line. The first station washes and dries the furniture. Next, a worker opens each one to spray paint the articulation points. Then, automated nozzles paint the rest. This is industrial-grade powder paint known as powder coat. A 10-minute trip through a tunnel oven at 370 degrees Fahrenheit bakes it on. Workers apply product information stickers, cushion protruding parts with plastic covers, and enclose foot protectors. The bistro set is now ready. Just unfold and unwind. In an electronic world, where a few taps on a device keyboard sends an invitation or greeting card, it's not all that common anymore to receive something printed the old-fashioned way. Yet there's nothing quite as elegant as the crisp, recessed print that traditional letterpress printing produces. Letterpress printing is a centuries-old method that's making a comeback. The printing press makes an impression in the paper with raised type as it applies the ink. The printer first sketches out some design ideas. Then he detours into digital technology, finalizing the colors and composition, and choosing the font in traditional melt type. He cuts paper to the size of the greeting card he's making. The paper is 100% cotton, which is more pliable than standard wood fiber paper.